वंदेहं श्री गुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं चाक्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सत्तर शत शिष्यमात् अभय शरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBD founder Acharya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सत्तर शत शिष्यमात् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री श्री गौर निताय की श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sha Padantikam Vandehang Shri Gura Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shirupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunathan Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha Namong Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanang Papanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadannaya Na Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaudatishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanang Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1. The chapter is entitled The History of the Life of Ajamila. text number 1. Okay. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Nivritti Marga Kathita Adau Bhagavata Yatha Karma Yoga Upalabdhena Brahmana Jat Asam Smritihi. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Nivriti Marga Kathita Adau Bhagavata Yatha Krama Yoga Upalabdhena Brahmana Jat Asam Smritihi. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Nivriti Marga Kathita Adau Bhagavata Jatha Brahma Yoga Upalabdhena Brahmana Jat Asam Smritihi. It's not karma yoga, it's krama. Krama means gradual. It's not karma. Mataji. Sri Parikshit Uvacha Maharaj Parikshit said, Nibriti Margaha, the path of liberation. Katitaha, described. Ado, in the beginning. Bhagavata, by your holiness. Yatha, duly. Krama, gradually. Yoga upalabdhena, obtained by the yoga process. Brahmana, along with Lord Brahma, after reaching Brahmaloka. Yat, by which way? Asam smritihi, cessation of the repetition of birth and death. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Sukadev Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nibriti Marga. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world along with Lord Brahma. Thus, one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. So you can repeat after me. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my Lord, O Sukadev Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nibriti Marga. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world along with Lord Brahma. Thus, one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. Purport. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a Vaishnava, when he heard the description at the end of the 5th canto of the different hellish conditions of life, he was very much concerned with how to liberate the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya and take them back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he reminded his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, about the Nibriti Marg, or the path of liberation, which he had described in the 2nd canto. Maharaj Parikshit, who at the time of death was fortunate to have met Sukadeva Goswami, inquired from Sukadeva Goswami about the path of liberation at that crucial time. Sukadeva Goswami very much appreciated his question and congratulated him by saying, Boryan Yesho te prashana, Boryan Yesho te prashna, Pito loko hitam nipa, Atmavit sammato pungsam, Soto Badishu ja paraha. My dear king, your question is glorious because it is beneficial for all kinds of people. The answer to this question is a prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Parikshit Maharaj was astonished that the living entities in the conditional stage do not accept the path of liberation, devotional service, instead of suffering in so many hellish conditions. This is a symptom of a Vaishnava. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha. A Vaishnava is an ocean of mercy. Paro dukho dukhi. He is unhappy because of the unhappiness of others. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, being compassionate toward the conditioned soul suffering in hellish life, suggested that Sukadeva Goswami continue hearing the path of liberation which he had explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. The word Asam Smriti is very important in this connection. Samsmriti refers to the continuing on the path of birth and death. Asamspriti, on the contrary, refers to Nibriti Marga, or the path of liberation by which one's birth and death cease and one gradually progresses to Brahmaloka. Unless one is a pure devotee who does not care about going to the higher planetary system, in which case one immediately returns home back to Godhead by executing devotional service. Takta deham punarjanmanaiti. Parikshit Maharaj therefore was very eager to hear from Sukadeva Goswami about the path of liberation for the conditioned soul. According to the opinion of the Acharyas, the word Krama Yogopulabdhena indicates that by first performing Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga and finally coming to the platform of Bhakti Yoga, one can be liberated. Bhakti Yoga, however, is so powerful that it does not depend on Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga itself is so powerful that even an impious man with no assets in Karma Yoga or an illiterate man with no assets in Jnana Yoga can undoubtedly be elevated to the spiritual world if he simply adheres to Bhakti Yoga. Mama Vivesi Asangsaya, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that by the process of Bhakti Yoga, one undoubtedly goes back to Godhead, back home to the spiritual world. Yogis, however, instead of going directly to the spiritual world, sometimes wants to see the other planetary system, and therefore they ascend to the planetary system where Lord Brahma lives, as indicated here by the word Brahmana. At the time of dissolution, Lord Brahma, along with all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka, goes directly to the spiritual world. This is confirmed in the Vedas as follows: Brahmana saute sarve samprapte pratisanchare prasannante kritatmanaha pravissanti parampadam. Because of their exalted position, those who are on Brahmaloka at the time of dissolution go directly back home, back to Godhead, along with Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna. Mukam karati vachalam pangur langhaite giring yat kripa tamam bande Sri Guru Gnatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So Srimad Bhagavatam contains 10 subject matters, right? How many of you know this? So Sukadeva Goswami, in that second canto, discusses about 10 subject matters, mentions 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sarga visargasta, sthanam pasanam utaya, manantarishanu katha, nirada bhaktir ashraya. So sixth canto primarily talks about what? Poshanam, protection by the Lord, which is very much necessary. Sixth canto gives a lot of hope to the devotees. So Parikshit Maharaj was hearing in fifth canto the hellish planets, how by different kinds of sinful activities people go to different hellish planets. Some people think, many people think these are all stories just to scare people. But the words of Shastra are absolute. So definitely people suffer, and we can see the suffering also in this world. It's nothing very wonderful in this world, in this planet also, where we are staying. We see so many people suffer. And now, especially, people are suffering so much. And what is the cause of suffering? Cause of suffering is sinful activity. If we commit sinful activities, definitely we have to suffer. And Parikshit Maharaj, being a Vaishnava, he was thinking about the welfare of the conditioned souls. That is a symptom of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava does not think about themselves. They think of others' welfare. I was hearing from a Prabhupada disciple, very wonderfully he was explaining, as soon as one takes real shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and Krishna, then there is nothing to gain for that conditioned soul in this world. Because he is fully surrendered at the lotus feet of the Guru, at the lotus feet of Krishna, then nothing else is needed for him in this world. We need so many things in this world. Why? Because we are not surrendered. Hankering and lamentation are the symptoms of conditioned souls. Those who have not taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who have taken complete shelter, they are free from hankering and lamentation. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma Na Sachati Na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Lavate Ram. So symptom of a Brahma Bhuta person means who is always happy. We all want to be happy, always, right? How many of you want to be happy always? Very good. Those who are happy, this question does not apply. But those who are not happy, want to be happy, this is a very important subject matter. And how we can be happy always? We have to be free from hankering and lamentation. Hankering for what we don't have and lamenting for what we have lost. So how we can be free from this? Very simple. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktaram Jagatapusang Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suvidang Sarvabhutanam Gyatta Mam Santi Vichati. So when we understand not only information, when we really understand that Krishna is a supreme enjoyer and Krishna is a supreme proprietor of everything, then what is the question of hankering and lamentation? Right? If everything belongs to Krishna, then what you should hanker for? Nothing. Because everything belongs to Krishna. And why you should lament? Because everything belongs to Krishna. Why we lament? Because we think this is mine. I have lost it. That's why we lament. And why we hanker? Because I don't have it. I want to have it. Right? That's why we hanker. You understand the science of happiness? Very simple. We don't need so many seminars. We can hear seminar after seminar, but if you don't practice this, you are not going to be happy. Krishna already gave the seminar. And when we practice this, how to practice? First, we have to believe this, that everything belongs to Krishna. And for that, we need to have some philosophical understanding. People say, why everything belongs to Krishna? The house is in my name. Bank account is also in my name. Credit card, debit card in my name. Vehicle is in my name. How everything belongs to Krishna? What do you think? We are also proprietor, but we are the secondary proprietor. And that's going to change. Now I may be the proprietor, but that proprietorship is going to change. Temporary. Our proprietorship is temporary. That's why so much anxiety. How to keep it permanently? That's why anxiety. Why are you in anxiety? What will happen? What will happen in the future? In the immediate future? Also, long future. What's going to happen? Even the practicing devotees are thinking, what is going to happen? Right? हिंदी में बोलते क्या होगा मेरा? महाराज क्या होगा? But Krishna has spoken what was going to happen. Jatasya hi dhruva mittur, dhruvang janma mitrasya. Those who have taken birth, they are going to die. Nothing interesting in this world. We are all going to die. That's the reality. I was giving a lecture and one small girl was asking, why you are dying? People, at least she has that question, but many people don't have that question also. So anyway, you have to die was a big deal. It's a big deal, but people don't think it's a big deal. That is a real problem in our life. So I told her, why we die? Because we have taken birth. She was astonished to hear this answer. So, oh, really? I said, yes, because you have taken birth, that's why you have to die. Then what is the solution? She was asking. The solution is that you should not take birth. And how to do that? That's why you have to read Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chame devyam evang javati tattata takta deham punarjanma noiti mameti. So Arjuna. So in order to stop this process, we have to understand Krishna. The transcendental nature of Krishna's birth, transcendental nature of Krishna's activities. Then we don't want to take birth again. So coming back to the point of anxiety. We are always in anxiety. Why? Because we are attached. Attachment leads to anxiety. And attachment comes from ignorance. We are living a life of ignorance. Knowledge is to know Krishna. When you know that everything belongs to Krishna, then what is the point of it? What is the reason to be in anxiety? Why? So we are in anxiety because we don't accept Krishna's proprietorship. Why I'm telling this? Because this 6th canto deals with that. Krishna protects not only devotees, he protects each and every one of us. That's Krishna's main service, to protect. But we should have that confidence. So Parikshit Maharaj wanted to bring that confidence in the lives of the conditioned souls by narrating, by discussion of this topic of Ajamila. So how Krishna protects? Even if someone does not take shelter. Very, very powerful message we can get from this pastime. So Krishna's protection is very, very important principle. Because the cause of anxiety is that we don't feel that Krishna will protect us. That's why you're in anxiety. Pandavas, they are in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Any time they can die. Here also, without war also you can die any time, but when there is some battle, so that becomes intensified. Any time we can die. Those are fighting the battle. But in that situation also, Pandavas were very blissful. Daytime fighting, evening time party. No anxiety. How? It is possible. Because they have taken complete shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they know they are going to die anyway. Parikshit Maharaj, he is going through that difficult situation. For us it is difficult, but Parikshit Maharaj, it was a joyful event. He told that, my dear Lord, you are very, very merciful. He got a curse that in 7 days he will be killed by the snake bite. It's a mercy, or what do you think? People will say, I am blessed. Why? Because I am cursed to be dead in 7 days. You'll say like that? That's why you are not Parikshit Maharaj. But Parikshit Maharaj thanked the Supreme Personality of Godhead, congratulated him that, my dear Lord, you are very, very merciful. And you are giving me the darshan. How you are giving me darshan? Dijo Saparupam. You have appeared in front of me in the form of the curse of the Brahmana birth. So Parikshit Maharaj did not see the curse. Parikshit Maharaj saw Krishna. That is a symptom of a pure devotee. Everywhere he sees only Krishna's presence. Same thing happened to Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj's life, some people think it's very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness. They should regularly read Prahlad Maharaj's life. What a terrific situation he was in. So Prahlad was tortured by his demoniac father. And his father was not an ordinary father. He was the God of the universe. Everybody accepted Hiranyakasipu as God. Even Narad Muni also revealed that I was also glorifying Hiranyakashipu. What influence Hiranyakashipu had. Everybody accepted Hiranyakashipu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? But still he was not happy. Why? His own son, 5-year-old son, Prahlad, did not accept him. That is the nature of this world. And he was very frustrated. The whole world submitted, but my own son is not accepting. He is accepting Narayan, Vishnu, my enemy, as God. So he started torturing. He started devising different plans to kill him in many different ways. Whatever way he should be killed. But Prahlad was in anxiety. Something happens in our life, we are in anxiety. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? But he was in anxiety. He was not in anxiety. Why? Why is not in anxiety? Because he was completely Krishna conscious. For them, living, dying, same. Because nothing changes for them. Whether they are in this body, next body, in this world, spiritual world, nothing matters to them because they are always Krishna conscious. That is the eternal platform they are in. That's why nothing matters to them. That is the perfection of our life. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma na sachitana kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labhate param. We have to come to that platform. Otherwise, we cannot experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Prahlad was, we are thinking, oh, everything will be very nice. That time we'll experience Krishna consciousness. No. That is not the science of Krishna consciousness. Science of Krishna consciousness, we have to be Krishna conscious in any situation of our life. That is the science of Krishna consciousness. And more difficulty, more Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness should become intensified when we are in more difficult situations. And that's why Krishna also puts his devotees into difficult situations. That is a special mercy. Those who are very, very special to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for them, Krishna arranges special difficulties as a special mercy. So who wants that special mercy? Nobody is interested. Because we want comfortable life in this world which does not exist. We want to be in comfortable situation in this world. Everything should be very nice. Some people say that we'll be very serious in Krishna consciousness when everything will be nice. That day will never come. Because this situation will never come in our life because that situation does not exist in this world. So Prahlad was seeing Krishna everywhere. Then Hiranyakashipu became frustrated. He said, you are talking about Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. Where is he? He said, he is everywhere. He said, he is in the pillar? Prahlad said, yes. Then you may say, what's the big deal telling that answer? We also know. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastha Brahma Sangita explains. In every atom, Krishna is there. So he's also there in the pillar. So what's the big deal? Prahlad said, yes. But he never gave a philosophical answer. He saw Nrsimhadev in the pillar. Then he told. It's not like a philosophical answer. He should be in the pillar. It's not like that. Before appearance from the pillar, Hiranyakashipu could not see, but Prahlad could see that Nrsimhadev is in the pillar. Why? Because that is the power of pure devotional service. That's why he is always fearless. How we can become fearless? When we are confident 100% that I am protected by Krishna. So you may say, oh, it all happened in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dapur Yuga, Kali Yuga, doesn't work. People say like that. It all happened, whether happened or not, it might have happened also. But it's Kali Yuga, how it is possible? Mahaprabhu is telling, it's possible. Same principle. Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur was also tortured like anything. What mistake he did? What is the mistake? He was chanting the holy name. That was the mistake, according to the ruler. And the ruler said that I will forgive you if you stop chanting. He said, what to talk about? Stop chanting. I cannot stay for a moment without chanting. He said, if you don't stop chanting, then you have to stop the breathing. Means you have to die. You'll be beaten up in 22 marketplaces. Sometimes people think 22 marketplace is a name. They cannot relate. That's why Prabhupada writes, 22 marketplace means 22 marketplaces. And what is the history? History is case study. Whoever was beaten in one or two marketplaces, they are either dead or surrendered. That is the level of beating. Kazi's people started beating Haridas Thakur in 22 marketplaces. Nothing is happening. They became very tired and they started begging to Haridas Thakur, please die. If you don't die, we have to die because Kazi will kill us. So why is happening? Nothing is affecting Haridas Thakur because Haridas Thakur was completely Krishna conscious. So it is said, when someone is in the shelter of the holy name, Krishna protects that devotee. How? Mahaprabhu is explaining. In Shiva Sangan, Mahaprabhu is narrating this pastime. He said, Haridas, can you remember? Because it happened before. So you are beaten up in 22 marketplaces. I sent my Sudarshan Chakra. So who chants the holy name of the Lord all the time? Sudarshan Chakra is always protecting that person. Be very careful. And proof is Ambarish Maharaj. As soon as Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni was chased by Sudarshan Chakra. Here also, we are saying Sudarshan Chakra was there, but here Sudarshan Chakra acted in a different way. Sudarshan Chakra did Pradakshina of Haridas Thakur, did that circumambulation. Then he came back to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, I told you to kill all those people, but you came back without killing them. You are my servant, you are not following my instruction. He said, my dear Lord, I am following your instructions only. How? I told you to kill them, but you did not kill them, came back. How you are following my instructions? He said that you declared that your devotee is greater than you. Right or wrong? He said, yes. How can I deny? That's the reality. That's the truth. So you are telling to kill them, but your devotee Haridas is telling to forgive them. What can I do? I have to follow the order of your devotee. So then Mahaprabhu said, what can I do? My main weapon could not work. Then I had to go personally. That's why Mahaprabhu is showing that for a devotee like Haridas, Krishna protects personally. not through his Sudarshan Chakra. So Mahaprabhu personally came and he was keeping his own back at the back of Haridas Thakur and receiving all the beating of the whips by the Qazi's people. And Mahaprabhu was checking with Haridas, Haridas, do you believe that? I did that? And he opened his back and there's red mark at the back of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to establish that he personally protected Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur fainted on the ground. So in that way, Mahaprabhu is establishing same principle prevails in Kali Yuga also. It's an eternal principle. We should not think that it happened to Ajamila in Satya Yuga, doesn't work now. It works. These are the eternal principles. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about eternal principles. So Poshanam, protection by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very, very important principle in our life. Because unless and until we come to that platform, devotional service really does not begin. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma na sajitina kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti labhate param. We can start experiencing the ecstasy. We start experiencing the bliss of devotional service when we are at this platform. So anxiety-free life is very, very important. That's why how to become anxiety-free? We cannot be anxiety-free. We have to spiritualize or dovetail anxiety. Our parampara is the parampara of anxiety. Spiritual anxiety. Anxiety for others. That is go stand on the understanding. So Mahaprabhu was in anxiety. Great anxiety. What was the anxiety of Mahaprabhu? Whether someone is getting the fruit of love of Godhead or not. He was thinking, I am the only gardener. How can I distribute the fruit of love of Godhead? Alone, I need help. Because if I distribute alone, there is a fear that someone will get, someone will not get. That's why anxiety. And in order to be free from that anxiety, he wanted others to take the anxiety. Bharat bhumite manusya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthak karo par upakar, jare dekho tare kaho, Krishna padesh, amar aggai guru hoiya, taro desh. We think guru means making some followers. That's not the service of guru. What is the service of the guru? To distribute love of Godhead. Who can distribute love of Godhead? Who has love of Godhead? That's why Bharat Bhumite Manusya Janma Hoilo Jar, Janma Sarthak Kari. First, you get love of Godhead. But we are so much interested in distribution. We are not so much concerned whether I have it or not. So much enthusiasm to preach. That's very good. But enthusiasm, what is the motivation behind that? To help the people or to have the popularity? We have to check why we are preaching. So, activity is not important. The purpose behind that activity is important. Preaching is the essence. But why to preach? Why you are preaching? That should be checked. That we know why you are preaching. Who can preach? Who has the compassion for the conditioned souls. Preaching should happen based on the principle of compassion. Paro dukhe dukhi. That's what is explained here in the purport. We should feel pain, anxiety for the suffering conditioned souls of this world. We have that feeling. If you don't have that feeling, then we are doing some superficial preaching work. And by that we can get some results, but that's not going to benefit the world in a proper way. So this anxiety. So Mahaprabhu had the anxiety. So whole parampara has the anxiety. Srila Prabhupada also had the anxiety. And he handed over that anxiety to his followers. So how we can be free from our own anxiety? When we take anxiety for others. So we cannot be anxiety free. In the spiritual world, there is also anxiety. Mother Jashoda is in anxiety. What will happen to Krishna? What will happen to Krishna? Always in anxiety. But that is Krishna conscious anxiety. So when we think about preaching activity, we are in anxiety. Mahaprabhu wanted that in every town and village all over the world, preaching should happen. So that anxiety will take care of our material anxiety. So we have to spiritualize our anxiety by taking anxiety for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that will happen when we have that faith that I am already taken care. Why I have to worry for myself? So that feeling and conviction is very, very important in order to really experience Krishna consciousness and expand this Krishna consciousness movement with proper mood and proper spirit. So time is up for today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So from tomorrow, we'll enter into the whole story of Ajamila. All of you know, but we'll try to learn some lessons from this story. We have few days, so we'll try to cover as much as possible. Do you have any question or comment based on the discussion today? Yes. You have some cordless mic?
So how this belief will come and what effort we have to put to develop this belief?
How to?
Like how to develop?
Not working? It's a process. How to develop that belief? The process begins with hearing. We have to hear from those who have belief. Then you also start developing that belief. If someone is speaking, he does not have belief, then hearing from him does not have any impact. So you have to hear from a bona fide person who is living on that principle. Okay? Hear again and again and start practicing also how everything belongs to Krishna, therefore everything should be engaged in Krishna's service. Okay. So whatever you have, that should be engaged in Krishna's service. So if you hear that at the beginning, 100% should be engaged in Krishna's service, there can be difficulty. That's why 25%, 10%, whatever is possible, you have to engage in Krishna's service, which gives you pain. The charity will generate benefit in your life when you experience a pinch of giving. You have to serve out of comfort zone. Charity also should be out of your comfort zone. Then slowly, slowly, realization will come. Okay? Practice. Then when we leave our body, there will be no pinching. Because already you have gone through that pinch. Okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, I have two questions. So one is, as you mentioned that Hiranyakashipu was not happy when Prahlad Maharaj was practicing this Krishna consciousness. So it's the other way around. So sometimes what happens, even in our family or in friend circle or in relative circle, when we say something about Krishna consciousness, they take it in a different way. That time we feel unhappy. So why, even after saying, maybe inner circle, even in the family, though they are practicing, sometimes we feel this is not the way to be done. This has to be done. When we say like that, they oppose and we feel little unhappiness. Not little, sometimes becomes more unhappiness. So how to deal with that situation?
So unhappiness, there should be reason why we feel unhappy. There can be different reasons. One reason can be that I am preaching so wonderfully. So why is not accepting the process of Krishna consciousness? We are attached. We are attached to the result of our activity. That's why we become disturbed. That's why you have to learn the art of preaching from Krishna. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and after that, whatever you want, you do. Our duty is to jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Our duty is to convey the message. Whether they will accept or not accept, it's up to them. It's not in our hand. But we always think what they will do. They should do according to the way I tell. We want to be the controller. So we feel unhappy because we act on the platform of control. But if you feel unhappy because they are not practicing Krishna consciousness, they are suffering. If you feel unhappy because of that, that is called transcendental unhappiness. Clear?
Clear. So the second question is in connection with this only, because sometimes we preach out of compassion. You mentioned that we have to preach out of compassion, that's a preaching movement. So even when we say, because it's not because we are forcing them to do, it's out of compassion. Maybe father, mother, parents, or siblings, wife, kids, we are telling them this, you have to do like this, it will be good for you. But still things doesn't work out the way we are looking for.
So you are telling compassion, at the same time you are attached. Doesn't go together. Compassion means you should be detached. So compassion means passion is come. Compassion means free from attachment. That's very, very important. It's not that easy. We are very attached. So we are also attached to the preaching results. So you should not think that we are acting on the platform of compassion. This is a high platform. If you are doing that, very wonderful. But you are telling that you are getting disturbed. That shows you are not preaching on the basis of compassion. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for instructing us. Maharaj, as it was mentioned in this verse and in many places it appears that those who are the inhabitants of Brahmalok, it is mentioned repeatedly that they go back to Godhead. So do we understand that it is by virtue of their placement in that loka, or their mental state is that of pure devotion? And similarly in our lives, is it possible to go back to Godhead without actually being on the level of prema and just doing at best what you could do to please the Guru Parampara and leaving the body in that state, or we will exhibit those symptoms and only then we'll be able to go?
What do you think?
Maharaj, I'm not able to reconcile the different views.
Prema cannot be reconciled. It's not mathematics. That is a problem with the science students. They want to reconcile everything. So, who can enter into the spiritual world? Those who have love of God. They only can enter into the spiritual world, nobody else. That is the principle. So from Brahmaloka, they are almost perfect. So whatever imperfection are not there, so they just perfect that and they go back home, back to God. Who the yogis generally they go through hierarchy. Upper planetary system, then go to Brahmaloka, and from Brahmaloka go to the spiritual world. That's the process they follow. But pure devotees, they don't follow that path. They don't have any interest to see any other loka. They want to go to spiritual world directly. So for them, they don't have to go to Brahmaloka to purify. They can purify their life in this body only, and they can go back home, back to Godhead directly from this Goloka to spiritual world. Clear?
Yes, Maharaj.
Not reconciled yet. Ask.
Maharaj, when Prabhupada says that to motivate that give one life for Krishna, that also includes the fact that give this life in such a manner that at the end of the life, you know that you are going back to Godhead, or if we have given to the best of our ability, then we can be carried, or we will know that we have come to this level that we are going.
Spiritual life is not a sentiment. I have give life for Krishna means what? Give 100% for Krishna. That is a symptom of love. It's not a sentiment. I am giving 100%, but I don't have love. How you can give 100% if you don't have love? It's all connected. So I don't have love, but I have given 100%. How it is possible? You understand? Who gives 100%? Who can think of Krishna 100%? Who has developed love for him? Otherwise, it's not possible. You can try, but it will not be possible until and unless we come to that platform. So you should not be living in a sentimental level that, oh, even if I don't have love of Godhead, I will go back home back to Godhead. Where it is said? Who said it? Nobody said it. So how can I go? So in order to go back home back to Godhead, love of Godhead, in order to go to the spiritual world, love of Godhead is the qualification. Okay.
Questions and so on.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, you mentioned that when difficult time comes, then we should intensify our bhakti. But it's difficult to follow basics of bhakti at that time. So what to speak of intensifying?
Yeah, that is the reality. That's why you cannot go back and back to Godhead. So you told very wonderfully. You told wonderfully our heart. That shows that we are conditioned. Our devotion is conditioned by our situations. We are not rendering unconditional, pure devotional service. Okay.
One more question, Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj, wonderful class. As you rightly said, first we should have love for Lord Krishna before we can give to others or to preach to others.
No, I never
Otherwise,
said that. I said that if you have love, then you can give love. But even if you don't have love, you can preach also. I never said that in order to preach, you have to have love of Godhead. Prabhupada never said that also. You can preach according to your capacity. Preachers have also different levels. Just like Prabhupada said, primary school teacher, high school teacher, college teacher, university. Like the different levels of preachers are there. It's not all the preachers are the same. So, what is the question?
Mataji, otherwise, that natural quality of compassion will not be there, and we will be expecting fame, name, all these things while preaching.
It's a comment. Is there any other question?
No, Maharaj.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, not a question, just a comment. Very happy to have you again. The moment you come, the whole atmosphere becomes very enlightened.
No, it's not like that.
And you presented the same basic philosophy, but in a very enlivening way. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Question or comment?
Maharaj, very interesting subject topic also you dealt with and clarified many of the doubts. So here we have come to this stage of Prema Bhakti, love of Godhead. I mean, we know that that is going to be our main concern, and we are reading day in and day out, and love of Godhead is the one which we have to achieve. So theoretically we know, and and by practice also there is some element, sometime, we just get into that mood, and we like it is like forced. But in order to keep that same tempo or the mood on a because any moment, anything, that can happen. So how to come to that kind of a stage? Is it possible, first of all, in this condition stage, that we can get that love of Godhead at that last moment? Or is it that because we are doing this practice, we are in the devotional service, that the parampara, Prabhupada and the parampara will be will assist us or help us in achieving that at the nth moment?
So you're telling that you'll get love of God at the time of death? Huh? So why you don't want before that? So theoretical love of Godhead will not take us to the spiritual world. We think like that something miracle will happen at the time of death. It's not going to happen like that. Whatever we are now, and that exactly will happen at the time of death. So we are a sadhaka, now we are dying, now we'll become siddha because death. It's not going to happen. Sadhana bhakti theke hoy roti hriday, roti karo hoile tare prem naam ka. It's never said at the time of death a sadhaka will become siddha. From sadhana bhakti, bhava will come. From bhava, prema will come. That's the process. And nothing interesting will happen at the time of death. We think like that. Oh, he has dedicated his life, dying, going back to Godhead. So he'll get the chance to go back to Godhead, definitely. Whether he's a sadhaka, siddha, that's there. But as a sadhaka, he cannot go to the spiritual world because he is dying. A sadhaka has to take birth again to continue sadhana bhakti. Only the prema bhaktas does not have to take birth again. He can go back to the spiritual world because he does not have to do sadhana anymore. That's the principle. So a sadhaka gets love of Godhead by sadhana bhakti, by the mercy of the Lord. But for that we have to render intensified sadhana bhakti. Full attention, full focus has to be there. Just like Parikshit Maharaj. Ahituki apratihata. That kind of bhakti has to be practiced vigorously. Then by the intensity of that sadhana with proper mood will result into love. Okay? Do you have any question from this side? So we'll end here for today. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna. So we'll be having this series of Ajamila series coming in the morning time, and the other program details also will be published in our temple community group, WhatsApp group, and all the devotees can take prasadam in the prasadama. Hare Krishna.
How are you? You want to go to one house?
That's it.